Here are your headlines at 6 o'clock. And more industrial action in the run-up to Christmas. This time, thousands of ambulance staff are to go on strike.
Prince Harry and Meghan receive a Human Rights Award just a day before their explosive Netflix documentary is due to air.
Good morning. For the rest of this week, it's turning colder by day and by night. The Met Office has weather warnings out for snow and ice across northern Scotland, for ice across eastern England, Wales and Northern Ireland. I'll have all the details later in the programme.
Yes, the cold weather that most of us have been dreading is on its way, as all of us are facing cost of living issues.
Good morning. What are your rights if your parcel arrives damaged? With Christmas deliveries and full flow, I'll be looking at how you can claim when things go wrong.
Front pages then this Wednesday morning, the eye focuses on the bacterial infection strep A, reporting the government may be forced to buy in extra antibiotics to protect school children from the infection. The Mirror focuses on the grief of the family of the 5-year-old girl who died in Belfast with the headline, "Strep A took away my princess." Mone alone, the Metro's headline after Tory peer Baroness Mone announced she's taking leave of absence from the Lords because of pressure over her alleged profiting from a PPE company awarded government contracts during the COVID pandemic. The Guardian also makes that story its front page lead. With Britain facing a massive wave of strikes in the coming days and weeks, the FT reports that Rishi Sunak's under pressure to speed up his planned legislation to crack down on industrial action. The Express looks at the ambulance strikes and a warning to those walking out from NHS bosses that lives will be put at risk. Lead for the Times too, the headline, paramedics urged not to risk lives with strike. And the Telegraph has a warning to older people that if they suffer a fall, it's unlikely they'll get an ambulance. Mail claims that Labour is taking millions of pounds from the unions going on strike, a situation the paper says leaves the party in hock to the unions. Ahead of the England-France World Cup quarter-final on Saturday, The Sun reveals that France's best player is a secret England fan and gives him a hat and scarf to prove it. And the Star looks ahead to the looming belt of freezing weather, cold enough, it says, to make even Amanda Holden put a coat on. There you go. Right, if you want to see any of those front pages again or read the stories, then do scan the QR code on your screen.
What today's papers are saying, we begin with the Telegraph, and the impact of the upcoming strike by ambulance staff is their lead this morning. It warns that elderly people who fall at home face being left without an ambulance when paramedics and 999 callers walk out.
The Times this morning, also looking at that story, says ambulance bosses will be pleading with the unions to protect heart attack and stroke patients amid fears that they could suffer because of the strikes.
The Mirror, meanwhile, is leading on tributes from the father of Stella Lily McCorkindale. The 5-year-old died in intensive care with Strep A. He says his daughter touched all the hearts on the ICU ward.
How's your Spanish, Nina? This is the front page.
Muy bien.
Muy bien. This is the front page of the Spanish sports newspaper, Mundo Deportivo, and it says KO Mundial, which means what? Knockout.
Knockout. Is it world?
Knockout world. Marking the moment when Spain were knocked out of the World Cup by Morocco last night. Another shocker.
I cannot handle the penalty shoots.
I know.
It's too much for me.
Neither could Spain, to be honest. Look at this, talking of the World Cup. This is lovely, isn't it, what the Mirror have done this morning? They've matched up this picture of Harry Kane preparing for the World Cup, the big game against France at the weekend, with a picture there of Harry Kane when he was just 8 years old, playing in the football ground with his shoelaces undone and a tennis ball, but exactly the same pose. Who'd have thought it? 21 years later.
That just shows, doesn't it, all the training, all the dietitians, but actually it's just there, isn't it? The pure instinct.
Hopefully he does his laces up on Saturday, though.
Let's hope so, and maybe wears better boots than that. This is a nice story in the Times this morning. So this is a young author, Chelsea Banning. She went to a book signing. Hardly anyone turned up, so she tweeted, "Only 2 people came to my author signing yesterday. I was bummed out, especially as 37 people said they were going to the event." But she's had some lovely responses. One from Margaret Atwood.
Wow.
Join the club. I did a signing to which nobody came except a guy who wanted to buy some Scotch tape. And Stephen King, the American novelist who sold 400 million books for his first signing of Salem's Lot, One person turned up, he said.
Stephen King.
A fat kid, yes. So, I mean, even the Beatles had gigs in the early days, didn't they, when no one
We're a
rocked
bit quiet. Yeah, well, I mean, good for them. At least she's had some backup and some good endorsements there, hasn't she?
I think they call it character building.
Yeah.
And underneath that, I mean, there's no picture. You'll have to picture Robin Redbreast yourself if you can use your imagination.
Look at the
This is
Christmas
quite
card in the
funny.
corner
There's
of the
been a
room.
study that shows Robin Redbreast's behaviour change in urban environments where there's aggressive traffic around and lots of people. When they're in more rural environments, they're a lot more relaxed, they make less noise and they shake their feathers a little less.
Just like the rest of us.
Just like the rest of us, yeah.
Right. You said that very aggressively, Nina.
Well, I'm just thinking about how much road rage gets to me.
I don't know, is that true? Are we more relaxed if we live in rural areas? I suppose we are, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
It's that whole escape to the countryside thing and just chill out. Yeah.
Just less noise and aggression. I think it's probably good for us as well as Robin Redbreast.
We were debating about how a study like that
Well,
ever
yeah,
happens.
who sits in a room and thinks, let's measure the aggression of
I know.
Robin Redbreast in
Let's
an
get some funding
environment?
for that.